Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah! What's going on, you thirsty, thunderous Thursday people? All you scallywags, nutmeggers, conversationalists, young and old, and of course you haters. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. And what can I say about today? I want to thank, of course, I'll start by saying this. Karen Thomas, Friendly Hands Food Bank. Love you, my dear. And she is so adorable. If you've never met her energy, if you never watched her videos, you just follow them on Facebook, Friendly Hand Food Bank. She gets all of those guys to do viral videos, the little TikTok things. She just has a lot of energy in what she does in the food insecurity space. I think is blessed by having somebody like Karen Thomas there. Her husband, of course, as well, and just all the people who work with her. Stuart, who I know personally, all the other ladies I know. They every time they see me, they go, "Who are you again?" I just know you're so tall. I want to thank all of those folks every time I show up there. So we did coffee with Karen today, just talking about my road here to Connecticut and how Karen and I met, and my personal story and why I'm so devoted to what she does, as well as how devoted I am to folks like the Salvation Army, being a former homeless teenager, former homeless child, and how lucky and grateful I am to be in a position that I'm in. So I'm always trying to help them so they can help others. You know, there is a little Reese on the radio out there who is kicked out or is homeless with his family and doesn't see a future. So I got to do my part to make sure that that little Reese on the radio believes or knows that there are resources and people who give a damn. And I didn't believe that when I was a kid. So I had to really rely on myself. And I'm lucky to have come out on that on the other side. Anyway, and again, thank those folks. If you would indulge me, I'd like to read something I printed today. And I'm hoping in the opening monologue I have enough time. And I think I do. The article is, Democrats have always been socialists. Mamdani is just exposing them. The Democrat Party has a secret it dares not speak aloud. Its policies are steeped in socialism, cloaked in the language of compassion, fairness, and progress. From Lyndon Baines Johnson to Joe Biden, Democrat presidents and their failed presidential candidates have championed a cradle-to-grave vision of government dependency, all while sidestepping the socialist label. The Obama campaign's Life of Julia laid bare this agenda, a life propped by the federal programs at every turn, yet Democrats maintain a facade of moderation masking their true intentions. This disingenuousness is now starkly exposed by the party's reluctance to embrace Zoran Mamdani, the 33-year-old Democrat socialist poised to become New York City's Democrat mayoral nominee in 2025. Yes, this article is from 2025. Mamdani's overt socialist platform, free buses, city-run grocery stores, rent freezes, and more, forces Democrats to confront their ideological leanings, threatening to pull them out of the socialist closet they've long hidden in. By examining Democrat presidents since LBJ, key candidates, and the party's reaction to Mamdani, we reveal a party advancing socialism while denying its name, fearful of the exposure his candidacy brings. Lyndon Baines Johnson, the Great Society Veiled Socialism. Lyndon Johnson laid a foundation for modern Democrat socialism with his Great Society, a sprawling set of programs sold as anti-poverty measures, but reeking of centralized control. Medicare and Medicaid thrust the government into health care, shifting costs from individuals to taxpayers under the guise of equity. The war on poverty's food stamps and Head Start programs, pitched as temporary aid, entrenched federal oversight in daily life. LBJ never whispered socialism, framing his policies as moral necessities. Yet they empowered the government to redistribute wealth and dictate outcomes, a socialist hallmark disguised as charity. This refusal to name the ideology behind his agenda set a precedent for Democrat obfuscation. I hate that word. That persists today. It's obfuscation, by the way. Jimmy Carter, centralized by stealth. Jimmy Carter advanced his covert socialism with policies cloaked in pragmatism. His creation of the Department of Energy, centralized control over energy markets with subsidies for renewables and oil price controls masquerading as crisis management. The Department of Education, established in 1979, federalized aspects of schooling, eroding local control under the pretext of raising standards. Carter, the peanut farmer with a folksy demeanor, presented himself as a moderate, but his policies leaned on government as the solution to complex problems, a socialist tendency he never acknowledged. This pattern of expanding federal power while dodging ideological labels reveals a party wary of admitting its true colors. Then there was Bill Clinton, the self-styled New Democrat. He was a master of disguise. His family and medical leave imposed federal mandates on private businesses, framed as worker protections. The failed health care reform led by Hillary Clinton aimed for government-managed care, but was sold as universal access. Clinton's expansion of the Earned Income Tax Credit and welfare programs redistributed wealth through tax policy, all while he triangulated as a moderate. His rhetoric emphasized opportunity and fairness, avoiding socialist buzzwords, but his policies told a different story. Government as the great equalizer, a socialist ideal wrapped up in bipartisan packaging. Clinton's disingenuous modernization hid an agenda that paved the way for bolder socialist moves. It failed to mention the Community Reinvestment Act to boot. Barack Hussein Obama. Obama brought his hidden socialism closer to the surface, most widely or vividly with the 2012 introduction to the Life of Julia campaign. This digital slideshow showcased a fictional woman whose life from preschool to retirement relied on government programs like Head Start, Pell Grants, the Affordable Care Act, and Social Security, presented as a celebration of opportunity. It was a brazen endorsement of cradle-to-grave dependency, a socialist dream disguised as empowerment. The ACA, the Affordable Care Act, sold as market-friendly reform, mandated coverage, and expanded Medicaid, entrenched federal control over health care. Obama's auto industry bailout and green energy investments centralized economic power. Framed as pragmatic fixes, he scoffed at socialist accusations. Yet his policies, applauded by Democrat Socialists of America, yes, that DSA, betrayed his leanings. The Life of Julia wasn't just a campaign tool. It was a confession Democrats hoped voters would ignore. And then Joe Biden. He perfected this charade. Yes, charade. Presenting as a Scranton everyman while advancing policies that align with socialist principles. His $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan Act, marketed as pandemic relief. It funneled cash to individuals and expanded unemployment benefits, fostering dependency critics warned of. His student loan forgiveness push, shifting billions in debt to taxpayers, was sold as fairness but reeked of redistributive socialism. The Build Back Better agenda, with massive spending on health care, child care, and climate, echoed the cradle-to-grave vision from Life of Julia. Yet, Biden cloaked it in talk of infrastructure and equity. His policies influenced by the Democratic Socialists of America's 80,000-strong membership. They reveal a socialist bent he refuses to name. This disingenuous framing keeps the socialist label at bay while advancing its principles, a tactic now tested by Mamdani's rise. Even the failed candidates were socialists. Democratic presidential candidates have played the same game, advancing socialist ideas while dodging the label. Al Gore championed environmental regulations by government-led climate action, framing federal intervention as planetary salvation. His vague calls for universal health care hinted at government control without admitting it. John Kerry in 2004 pushed for expanded federal health care, higher taxes on the wealthy, dressed up as fiscal responsibility. Hillary Clinton in 2016, pressured by Bernie Sanders, adopted tuition-free college and public health care options, policies she once dismissed as unrealistic. She couched them in pragmatic terms, avoiding the socialist label despite their redistributive core. Kamala Harris in 2024 was bolder, co-sponsoring Sanders' Medicare for All and flirting with universal basic income and wealth taxes. Her campaign rhetoric focused on opportunity, but the policies screamed government overreach. Each candidate hid their socialist leanings behind vague promises of fairness, hoping voters wouldn't connect the dots. Beyond the usual suspects, the socialist trend runs deeper than Sanders or the Squad. Senator Elizabeth Warren's wealth tax and corporate breakup plans, pitched as accountability, aimed to dismantle capitalist structures through government fiat. Senator Cory Booker's federal jobs guarantee and universal basic income proposals, framed as economic justice, rely on state control of labor and wealth. Representative John Yarmuth, as House Budget Committee chair, quietly explored single-payer health care, presented it as a study rather than an endorsement. These Democrats avoid the socialist label, cloaking their policies in compassion, but their actions reveal party increasingly aligned with centralized power. And now to Zohran Mamdani. His stunning upset in the 2025 New York mayoral primary exposes the Democrats' hidden socialism and their fear of owning it. Mamdani, a self-described Democrat socialist, ran on a platform of free public buses, city-run grocery stores, universal child care, a $30 minimum wage by 2030, and a rent freeze for rent-stabilized apartments, all funded by tax hikes on the wealthy and corporations. His victory over establishment favorite Andrew Cuomo, backed by Bill Clinton and big donors, sent shockwaves through the party. Yet, many Democrats, including moderates like Kathy Hochul, Senator Chuck Schumer, and Representative Hakeem Jeffries, have hesitated to fully endorse him, offering tepid praise or none at all. Their reluctance stems from Mamdani's unapologetic socialism, which forces the party to confront its own ideological drift. Moderate Democrats like Representative Lauren Gillen, who called Mamdani an absolutely wrong choice for New York. Representative Tom Suozzi, who expressed serious concerns, fear his platform, free transit, government groceries, and rent controls would alienate swing voters. Former Governor David Patterson, a Cuomo supporter, likened Mamdani to cyanide for the party's ailments, revealing a deep unease for his overt socialist label. Even establishment figures like former Treasury Secretary Lawrence Summers expressed profound alarm at Mamdani's rise, warning of its implications for the Democrat brand. This resistance isn't just about policy. It's about Mamdani's refusal to hide his ideology, which threatens to expose the socialist Democrats that have long cloaked in euphemisms like equity and opportunity. His candidacy forces them to either embrace their socialist leanings or risk alienating their progressive base. a dilemma they'd rather avoid. The life of Julia still remains the Democrats' unspoken manifesto, a life where government is the constant provider, from education to healthcare to retirement. LBJ's Medicare, Clinton's tax credits, Obama's ACA, and Biden's loan forgiveness all build this framework. Each step sold as progress, but rooted in socialist redistribution. Candidates like Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton reinforce it, promising government solutions for every stage of life while sidestepping ideological honesty. Mamdani's platform takes the vision of its logical extreme, advocating for government-run groceries and free services that echo the cradle-to-grave dependency. Democrats have incrementally built. Yet, by openly embracing the socialist label, he risks exposing the party's long-standing deception, making moderates squirm as they face pressures to come out of the closet and admit their own policies and socialist roots. Democrats' refusal to own their socialist leanings is their greatest sleight of hand. They hide behind words like fairness and access, but their policies, centralized controls, wealth redistribution, and federal overreach betray their true aims. The life of Julia was no accident. It was a glimpse into the party that sees government as life's backbone. Just so you know, folks, this piece was written by me 11 months and 5 days ago. We'll take a break. It's Reese on the radio.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio. I'm over here doing a whole bunch of other mess, making a whole mess of myself, trying to do things over here one at a time. But for those of you who are on WTIC.com, or so actually ReeseOnRadio.com, if you're watching there, you'll see that little picture there to my left. And this is something I was going to talk about yesterday, but of course, because we were preempted by the Red Sox game, I wanted to wait to bring it up today. And you folks don't realize this, but what you are experiencing is the burn striking back. Do you remember? In 2016, it was all about Field the Burn, Bernie Sanders. Today is the burn strikes back. And it is a very, very slow burn. For those of you who have forgotten, Bernie Sanders did not lose his spot as the Democrat nominee because he didn't have the country behind him, or at least Democrats behind him. He did. Moderate Democrats, believe me, you know it, I know it, were behind Bernie Sanders. You saw the crowds. It rivaled those of Donald Trump. It was, look, people called me crazy for doing it, for saying it out loud. But again, because this is my arena, and I have to tell people this is like, when people get into sports or people get into, what do you call it? Like the playoffs and all that stuff, they get really psyched up and they're ready to go and they got their snacks and, don't disturb them. Politics, that's my sport. And it gives me an opportunity to see where the country is going. And I was the only person saying, I want to see Bernie Sanders versus Donald Trump. An admitted Democrat socialist versus a businessman who's trying to end like globalism, trying to return jobs to the country. It is going to be socialism versus capitalism, the gauntlet. Whoa, it would be the octagon fight. And we didn't get it. And I told Bernie right after he dropped out, sucker. He did. He dropped. I would have challenged. Even after he found out through the leaks that he was seriously being, completely railroaded by people he thought were his friends. Donna Brazile, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, everybody in the Democrat Party, Democrat National Committee, John Podesta, they were kneecapping him. And I said the reason why was because the party was going to have to admit that it was socialist. Even if they didn't want to. Even if they were foolish enough to believe, we're not real socialists. Don't pay attention to our policies, all of which I read to you. They would have said, that's not socialism. But it is. But they did not and could not be labeled as such. Because what happens when you have the standard bearer? Right? Everyone goes in line, even if they don't. You have to go out there. Chris Murphy would have had to go out there. Absolutely. I agree with every one of his platforms. Yep. Medicaid for all? Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Even if you disagree. Yep, absolutely with it. Tax the wealthy? Yep, can't tax them enough. He is the titular head of the Democrat Party if he gets the nomination. And they could not risk that finally being exposed. So Bernie Sanders, all of a sudden he starts hanging out with all these young upstarts. He understood the Ivy League class, the elitism of college campuses. They love that socialism stuff. Marxism, communism, anti-Israelism. Bernie's one of them. Hard to believe that. Like, wait a minute, what is he, a Jew? Yes, he is. But he's not Israeli. It's different. I'm sorry, folks, it is. I try to tell people that there's a difference. People say, but wait a minute, there's Jewish people in New York and they don't like Israel? I'm like, yeah, you'd be stunned. I worked with them for years and they tell me all the time, I'm a Jew, but I don't like what they're doing in Israel. Like, really? Can you imagine a black person saying that? I'm a black person, but Africa, no good. Anyway, I digress. That's what's going on. And Bernie is like, oh, remember what you did to me? In 2016, yes, it's a reckoning. That's what's happening. Bernie Sanders is getting his comeuppance.
So let me give you the good news. The good news is that last night in New York City, progressives won 3 congressional seats. They beat incumbents. People in New York City are saying they're sick and tired of status quo politics. They want a government that represents everybody and not just the billionaire class. And actually what happened in New York City took place after we have won major victories in New Jersey, California, Montana, and elsewhere. So what is going on all over this country is progressives are on the march. And I was just before I left the office, I saw Fox Television in their headlines, the end of the world is coming. Progressives are winning elections. Socialism is taking over the world. Real panic.
Yeah. Socialism is taking over the world, Bernie says. And he's happy about it. And Democrats can't do anything about it. They're running around trying to say, no, it's not what you think. New York is not America. Really? Really? All the New York elites? Like now all of a sudden it's not America, which exposes something else. And I'll get into that later. Because from what I heard, New York was like, being the capital of the world. New York was kind of the trendsetter, wasn't it? It was the center of culture, if not politics. Those are the people we were supposed to listen to. That's where all the Ivy League schools are. With the exception of Harvard and Yale, but you know what I mean. The New York elite business class, predominantly liberal, the we know what's best for you class. Now, all of a sudden, They don't know what they're talking about over there. Okay, go figure. And now everybody is like, what do we do? What do we do? You want to hear a clear example? Let's listen to Hakeem Jeffries. Hakeem Jeffries, with, what's his name? Gosh, I forget his name, but over at CNBC. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Hakeem Jeffries being asked, listen, there's a video of folks with you on the screen at one of the campaign headquarters. You're on the screen talking to somebody in the news, and the crowd is shouting, "You're next, you're next." They're shouting, Hakeem, what's going on? These people are coming for you. What do you have to say about that? Hakeem Jeffries can't say anything because, like I said yesterday, you can't alienate those folks. You got to join them. There's nothing left for him.
We all agree with what you just said, but it totally shifted from what we're talking about is whether when the Democratic Party includes someone in that tent that believes these things, I don't think any of those things are going to solve what you just talked about or an answer to any of our problems that you delineate so eloquently. They were saying, you're next, about Hakeem Jeffries. You're next, you're next, you're next. You can't think this is a positive development in New York politics, can you? And they'll just, Dems will be Dems or something like that. I don't see how you can say that. You need to reject those things.
More on that later. You need to reject those things, he says to him. More on that. But again, the bottom line is, Hakeem, what do you say to a Democrat Party who's saying to his leadership, you're next. We're going to get rid of you next. We just got rid of incumbents. We're coming after you soon. Hakeem Jeffries has got an opportunity to reject that, right? Come for me all you want, right? What happened to F around and find out, Hakeem? Here's what he said.
First of all, I've clearly rejected those things. That's number one. Number two, and my record speaks for itself, this is not a Dems will be Dems situation. Donald Trump is the president of the United States of America right now. Are you kidding me?
They are so scared that they immediately have to turn to Donald Trump. Donald Trump's the president of the United States. We can't be talking about these guys. Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. They're scared to death. You know what makes it worse? They're going to accept this party, the Democrat Socialists. They're going to accept them. They have no choice. Because, as I told you before, they will join Satanists if it defeats Trump.
I think the future of the party is diverse, and it's anchored in the fact that we've got candidates all across the country who are running to take back control of the House of Representatives so we can end the national nightmare that's taken place.
Does it feel like New York is being taken over by socialism? We are all united in stopping Trump.
My focus is on winning the House for the Democrats. Local candidates, local races, and that's the representation each other soon.
It's just about beating Donald Trump. They will accept anything. How long ago was this? Back in 2016? This headline, membership in satanic churches soars in Trump America. Published right after the 2016 election on November 11th. The Satanic Temple, a group founded in 2013, saw thousands of new members in the 36 hours after Trump's win. That's right. People are desperate, have a desperate need for something to rally towards right now. That's the quote. These people are going to align themselves with the devil, even the devil that's out to remove them. More on that and proof that they will align themselves with anything, even the things that they despise, when we return. Stand by. It's Reese on the Radio.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Of course I didn't hear it. You probably did tell me 1 minute, and I missed the entire thing. So I want to play this. I couldn't help but think about it. with all of these people in the Democrat Party scrambling around, trying to figure out, like, what do we do? Like, the jig is up. We're socialists now. The people have spoken. Now, overall, in the rest of the country, where it matters, they're not. Those folks will never be. It may be great in San Francisco, probably fantastic in Los Angeles, Chicago too, maybe even a little bit of Miami. Right? The big cities, they're going to love every bit of it. It's real hot, that whole socialist thing. Yeah. Hell, Hartford, New Haven, Bridgeport. What? You mean the government take care of me for the cradle to grave? Yeah, I'm in. But the rest, not so much. Because people know that it's going to be rationing. There has to be. There has to be after a while. Soon it's going to turn into the dystopia that we see in Steven Spielberg films. So the rest of America knows. Plus, rest of America reads. These bozos in the city, they don't read. You ever see their test scores? Book? Anyway, what these folks are willing to do, Democrats, in order to win elections, to gain power, anything. Here enter William Jefferson Clinton giving the eulogy for Robert C. Byrd of West Virginia. They are reveling about a Klansman who was the dean of the Senate, who miraculously, after all we've been told about the so-called switch, the guy who was the Grand Kleagle of the Ku Klux Klan did not become a Republican from the time he got into elected office until he died. Never joined the Republican Party. And when he died and there was a service for him, the people who spoke were then Vice President Biden, then President Barack Obama, and the first black president, Bill Clinton. I say that because that ticks off the list. It ticks them off. But Bill Clinton said this.
There are a lot of people who wrote these eulogies for Senator Byrd in the newspapers, and I read a bunch of them, and they mentioned that he once had a fleeting association with a Ku Klux Klan. And what does that mean? I'll tell you what it means.
Stop. Did you hear that? He said that Robert Byrd had a fleeting relationship. Fleeting.
Papers, and I read a bunch of them, and they mentioned that he once had a fleeting association with a Ku Klux Klan. And what does that mean? I'll tell you what it means. He was a country boy from the hills and hollows of West Virginia. He was trying to get elected. And maybe he did something he shouldn't have done, and he spent the rest of his life making it up. And that's what a good person does. There are no perfect people. There are certainly no perfect politicians.
Robert Byrd was involved in the Klan for roughly 4 to 5 years. He was the exalted Cyclops, the top officer in his local chapter. He also functioned as the Grand Kleagle, that is defined as a recruiter for the Ku Klux Klan, a role he served well by recruiting 150 members. Fleeting, Mr. Clinton? Fleeting. The man who filibustered the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Fleeting? Mr. Clinton? They will align themselves with demons for power. But for some odd reason, socialism has got them all choked up because they know it's a loser. And you liberals out there, you know it too. Question is what are you going to do about it? Let me give you the short answer. Nothing. You can't. You're afraid of your own shadow. I'll explain. Stick around. More news, more views. Top of the hour news coming up with John Silva when we return. It's Reese on the Radio.
Reese on the Radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
All right, back. Reese on the Radio. Linda Szynkowicz is joining the program at about 3 o'clock. Tomorrow, TJ Duarte for Future So Bright will join the program tomorrow. This weekend, I will be speaking at a Fight Voter Fraud event on Saturday. So we'll talk to Linda Szynkowicz about that. Ben Proto gave me an update. I know he just landed in D.C. a little while ago, but he is working on us doing this event down at in D.C. for the 4th of July. We're crossing our fingers and our toes to see if this happens. They're talking about some Secret Service thing, like I'm asking for background access. I'm like, no, I want general admission at the mall to do the show. I'm not, I'm not looking for special treatment or anything like that. I'm going down there to represent you guys. So hopefully that'll come to fruition. We're hoping, and I spoke to Ben this morning. We texted each other, I should say, this morning. So he's working his best on it. He sent me proof of life to show that he was texting folks. So they're working on it. Like I said, well, hopefully we'll, keep our fingers crossed. Whatever happens, happens. I thought about this last night about the socialists, the Democrat Socialists of America. And they're right. You're right here. Boost. Is it Boost? Yeah, Boost. Sorry. Boost says that this is all part of a coalition between Marxists, Islamists, and alphabet mafia destroying the West. You're 100% right. This Democrat Socialists of America thing is a ruse. It's nonsense. There's nothing truthful about it. They are Marxists, they are communists, and they wish to destroy Western civilization. This young lady, whatever her name is, Diara Liza Chevalier, she said so much in her organization. But as I was going through all of this, I kept saying to myself, there were a lot of big mouths here in Connecticut not too long ago. Dare I say 20 days ago. There were a whole lot of big mouths right here in Connecticut. And I'm going to hold your big mouth to it. Watch me. Let me make sure that I got all of these quotes right. Daria Liza Avila Chevalier. She won in New York 13. The 32-year-old Democrat Socialists of America member and community organizer with no prior elected office. She defeated a 5-term incumbent in a heavily Democrat district, a man who was head of the Hispanic caucus. She said about Israel in 2020, Israel doesn't exist, she said, when she was asked about, what was it? Oh, this is the, oh yeah, she was talking about some Israel suddenly disappears. Your third emoji is your reaction. She wrote, trick question, Israel doesn't exist. On borders and deportation, she said in September of 2021, yes, literally abolish the border, and all deportation is wrong. On police and prisons, she explicitly rejected defund as too moderate. In June of 2020, she said, F you, we're going to defund and abolish. No more police at all ever. A world without borders, just like a world without prisons or police, is possibly necessary. and the only moral way forward. All pigs everywhere are haram. Crude personal attacks on Democrats, like calling Joe Biden a rapist and a war criminal. Posted about Kamala Harris, I have no nuance to add. F Kamala Harris. Referred to the U.S. as a effing disgrace. And attended a controversial pro-Palestinian rally in Times Square on October 8th of 2023, the day after the Hamas massacre of Israeli citizens. Brad Lander, New York 10 winner, former New York City comptroller, said that the Gaza campaign is a genocide, referenced Trump's fascism. Claire Valdez called Israel and its actions genocide and apartheid. Why am I bringing this up? Why am I bringing this up? Because it would appear Democrats have a Jadon MacCormack problem. Yeah. You didn't think anybody remembered. It was only 20 days ago. The star of the show is Daraliza Chevalier. This woman said, and I quote, Joe Biden is a rapist and a war criminal. Senate Democrats in Connecticut, do you agree with her or do you condemn her? I didn't hear anybody talking about it. Even Governor Lamont spoke up about the elections in New York. Where are you, Martin Looney? You were one of the early people to issue a joint statement with Bob Duffboy. Remember that? Calling MacCormack one example of a broader and deeply troubling problem the Democrat Party in Connecticut and across this country continues to attract. Isn't that what you said? You didn't leave it to Connecticut, sir, or sirs. You said the whole Republican Party. What say you now about Miss Chevalier? She joined the Democrat Party, and she did better than Jadon. She won. She said, F. Kamala Harris, a woman of color, your Democrat nominee. She's like Hillary Dark. What did you say? Isn't this what's the words? I want to make sure I got it right. And one example of a broader and deeper troubling pattern in the Democrat Party? Wouldn't you say so? Because Bernie Sanders just told us that the Democrat socialists are running everywhere. Huh? It's bedlam. And yet they supported this woman. I mean, she is a Democrat Socialist of America darling. Darling. Where's all the condemnation? If Jadon MacCormack is a reflection of who we are as Republicans, why isn't Miss Chevalier an example of you? You guys didn't just allow her to run. You ran a primary with her and she won. And she beat out a Hispanic man, the head of the Hispanic caucus, a guy who was hardcore left, an incumbent. And this was, again, I would almost go so far as to say this woman and Jadon MacCormack, two peas in a pod. Huh? I'd go so far as to say that. I'm pretty extreme on both ends, huh? Really? This woman's talking about abolishing the police, abolishing borders. No criminal, like no deportation of murderers and rapists. Just put them on the dole. Put them in prison. We'll fund them. Is this part of the party? Isn't this a reflection of where your party's going? Where's the condemnation? We had to ask, why isn't anyone asking? Again, set the table. You got to eat from it. Who else spoke up? Pat Boyd. The incumbent MacCormack challenged, called the comments divisive and hateful, and said she was deeply embarrassed for the region drawing negative attention and criticized the nomination of a major party candidate who chooses to divide our town, spread hate, and insult our neighbors as completely tone deaf. She defended free expression and principle, but said this crossed the line of basic human decency. Well, State Rep Pat Boyd, what say you now? I'd love to hear a comment. Just call up. Somebody can get at her, knock on her door or something. We'd love to hear whether or not she defends, what was this? Joe Biden is a rapist and a war criminal? I mean, if the litmus test is somebody said something, and therefore it is tantamount to the whole party saying it with them, compare and contrast. I mean, that's a sacred cow where I come from. You're not supposed to say that about Joe Biden. You F. Kamala Harris. By the way, Chevalier said that Barack Obama, the patron saint of liberalism, your Lord and Savior. She said Barack Obama was evil. That didn't draw one of you folks out? Nobody in this town? Barack Obama? Like nobody jumped up and said, chick, you crazy? Nobody? You were all silent. Clowns, all of you. I'll say it to your face and you know it. Clowns. Who is this? Oh, Matt Ritter and Jason Rojas in a joint statement. What's with the joint statements? Do you need two brains for one statement? What's that about? Anyway, sickening to think that this candidate wants to spew this kind of poison in the people's chamber. What say you now? You want to talk about poison? Your candidates are full of poison. One woman went so far, if I can remember correctly, she said that America was responsible for September 11th. Now, folks, hold on for a second, just so I get this right, okay? You have a state rep in a hijab saying at a forum that America is responsible for September 11th, where over 2,900 people were murdered. And nobody found the time to condemn that woman as vile and not a representative of the Democrat Party. I was offended. I was in New York. I watched those people burn and jump off buildings. I watched that. Now, if you're going to sit up here and tell me, but, Reese, September 11th is a thing, but, Jadon talked about the LGBTQ community. What are you trying to tell me, huh? There's a hierarchy here on who you can offend? Is this like the George Floyd thing? Right? So like a patron saint of fentanyl, huh? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Somebody's going to have to explain it. Somebody's going to have to explain it. You're all walking on eggshells because you're scared to death. Condemn the Republicans immediately behind one kid's statement. And I say kid because he's 23, and he is a kid. But you guys couldn't wait to pounce. I mean, you couldn't wait to pounce. You were going to make this about Republicans no matter what. No nuance required. Here's apparently Gustavo Gordillo. Is that how you pronounce his name? All I know is that he is some guy in 2026 wearing a ponytail. Speaks very light and effeminate. Here's him talking about the Democratic Socialist agenda versus Democrats.
We're on the Democratic Party ballot line. We contest the primaries. And when they're in the legislature, they're part of the Democratic Party caucus. But we don't agree with the way the Democratic Party establishment organizes or runs its party apparatus. And so we try to build independence by focusing on volunteer-led movement. We think that everyone should be able to be trained and to become someone who can participate in the political process. And we don't really think that Democratic Party campaigns in the establishment are run that way. And I think, you really see that difference in...
Now, he does a lot of ums and ahs. That's because, he's wet behind the ears. He's like 12 years old. Forgive the guy. But I want you to listen, because this isn't out for you Democrats. This is the Democrat Socialists of America co-chair. Okay? This is a big dog. This is a big dog in an organization that is trying to eliminate you. Saying the quiet part, well, maybe it isn't quiet. He's just saying it out loud. We're really not aligned with the Democrats. We just get on that party ticket. When no one else comes around, we win the primary, and then we do our thing, and then we get rid of the Democrats. If the Democrats want to be a part of what we're doing, they have to choose whether or not it's going to be the billionaire donors or it's going to be the people. And we will fight really, really hard to get rid of the incumbents. Dan Goldman, out. Espelot, gone. All that stuff is done. Listen to the young man again. This is what they are telling you. They are revealing to you. To your face, Democrats. And here's the truth. The reason why he can say this out loud is because he knows your wusses. He knows everybody in the Democrat Party is scared of their own shadow, because if they do something, if they fight back, they know there's a revolt. Half their party, gone. So you have to take your licks. You have one choice. Join them. Resistance is futile.
Our candidates run as Democrats. We're on the Democratic Party ballot line. We contest the primaries. And when they're in the legislature, they're part of the Democratic Party caucus. But we don't agree with the way the Democratic Party establishment organizes or runs its party apparatus. And so we try to build independence by focusing on volunteer-led movement. We think that everyone should be able to be trained and to become someone who can participate in the political process. And we don't really think that Democratic Party campaigns in the establishment are run that way, and I think you really see that difference in the races like we're having tonight. And I think in terms of the agenda, there's a problem in the Democratic Party where they are funded by billionaire donors, and at the same time they're trying to represent the working class. And in our opinion, you have to choose between the billionaire class and the working class. It's just impossible to satisfy all of them.
That's what they're telling you. They are going to slowly but surely eliminate you. Eat you alive. And there's nothing you could do. You think that's crazy? Let's do this. Let me see if I have it here ready to go. I should. Let me go. I think it's here. Yeah. I will go here. This is probably the best way to get it. I bookmarked it because I wanted you to hear this. If you think that the Democrats aren't shaking in their boots, listen to this from Ro Khanna.
I want to speak to fellow progressives today. Yesterday was the beginning of a new, bold, strong Democratic Party. Democrats are winning not just in New York, we're winning across this country, in New Jersey, in Michigan, in Maine. The reality is that our platform of a New Deal for our time is resonating. It's a platform that says no to foreign wars, no to genocide, But it's also a platform that says yes. Yes to Medicare for all. Yes to child care for all. Yes to unions for all. And yes to a tax on billionaires and trillionaires. It turns out that when you stand up for the working class over the Epstein class, over the billionaire class, the American people respond in huge numbers. But we shouldn't be naive. The oligarchs are going to come after us. Yesterday, Elon Musk spent the morning saying that I should be put in jail or he was going to sue me. Why? Because I stood up to him. We have a simple message for these oligarchs. Channeling FDR, we should say to them, bring it on.
Ro Khanna. That's called, please don't bring your pitchforks to my door. Please do not bring your tiki torches to my door. I'm one of you. Don't primary me. I capitulate. I bow down. I know what side my bread is buttered on. Please take me to your leader. We should be reveling in this, but we can't. I'll explain that when we return. Stand by. It's Reese on the radio.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Hey, he's your friendly neighborhood Reese on the radio. Right now on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, back. Reese on the radio. Reggae Don, send me a message. He takes too long to type. It must be an old thing. Yeah, I'm teasing. It's not enough for the people of New York to have spoken. There's a lot of stuff to get into there. It's who voted. Who the individuals are who voted plays a huge role in this. There are a lot of people who didn't even participate. But an overwhelming number of people who voted were young, white, and college educated. Now, I know the activist class are going to think to themselves one of two things. And when I say the activist class, I'm talking about the blacktivist class. When you find out that these young, affluent, well-to-do white folks of New York City voted for this Chevalier woman who said abolish the police and get rid of borders. The fact that black people wouldn't turn around and go, huh? Richie Torres in New York won his primary. Anybody want to take a wild guess why? His constituents were majority African American. Nobody fell for the banana in the tailpipe. Richie Torres is as progressive as it gets. But he didn't lose his seat to any wild-eyed progressive who's talking about getting rid of borders and getting rid of the police, because nobody in the African-American community wants the police to be gone. I don't care what they think of the police. They know what happens if the police are gone. Home invasion, baby. You can never keep a nice thing in your house ever. Can you imagine that? Imagine you live in Hartford. Gun laws out the wazoo. You're a law-abiding citizen. You got a decent job. You're paying about $2,100 a month. Kid goes to school. Wife has a job. You have a job. It's not a fancy one. You can get a combined salary of about $40,000, $50,000 a year. You're just getting by. You got one car. One of you takes the bus. Maybe buy your kid a PlayStation 5. Buy a flat screen TV for Christmas with your tax return. You know? Maybe buy your wife a watch or a diamond necklace now and again. And you get some bozo like this Chevalier character who abolishes the police, gets in the office, goes for higher office. Forget about that. She doesn't just become a senator or a congresswoman. This woman becomes mayor. Because imagine the amount of power she'd have in the city. She becomes the mayor of Hartford, and she hates the police. Remember, she wants us to abolish them. And she gets to do the thing she's been trying to do forever. Her pipe dream finally comes to fruition. Yes, I will free my people from the oligarchs of the police department. Gets rid of them. Or dwindles them down to simple, ticket writing and showing up after. The entire place is crawling with social workers with no guns. You're just trying to live, trying to give your kid a gift, maybe your wife an anniversary gift. And she's not stopping the criminals because they're just disenfranchised blacks or Hispanics, misunderstood miscreants. What's she going to do? What are you going to do? When you're one of those misguided miscreants who have had the world on their shoulders and white supremacy bogging them down, decides to run up in your house in the middle of the night while your family's sleeping with a couple of guns. It's the purge, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. You think this is a joke, but of course, affluent white folks in the Upper West Side of New York City can vote for a candidate that says defund the police, because no matter how much they defund them, the only people who are going to have the police patrolling them are these folks. These folks who got them into power, they're going to have so much power. They're going to say, Miss Chevalier, Mayor Chevalier, you got to keep the police on the Upper West Side. Look, I know you know those disenfranchised people. Yeah, you know what? The cops are only going to be, but you got to protect my neighborhood. I can't vote for you in the next term if my kids can't walk outside and go to the corner store, play in the park. Chevalier is going to do what every one of these rabble-rousing politicians do. They do the usual. They go, don't worry. You will have police protection. Because they don't shoot you whiteys. They protect you. But they shoot my people uptown and in the Harlem and Spanish Harlem areas, on the Lower East Side. We'll keep those racist pigs out of your neighborhoods. But these white folks, we just let them patrol around them. That's what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen. And you're sitting up here talking about that's what the people in New York wanted. Yeah. It is. It's smart. But guess what, folks? The one thing we've been trying to tell you, elect the socialists, elect the Marxists, and watch them die. Because there is no alternative. There is no prosperity. There's rationing. There's a board that says who gets it, who doesn't. Who deserves and who doesn't, who can speak and who cannot. Say something off color. Say something that's not protected. Because you can forget about that. It will not be protected. Go ask the folks in England and in Germany. Say something online. Somebody's knocking at your door. Hello, Mr. Smith. Hello, Mr. Smith. I understand you said something about a gay person at your workplace on social media. Come on out. Get these cuffs on you. Yes, you'll serve 17 days in a local pokey. Yeah. Talk a good one there, buddy. You don't know what you're talking about. But then again, why listen to me? I'm only right all the time, right? It'll be a couple of months from now, I'll be telling the story and saying, remember when I told you? And you'll be going, yeah. Simsbury Joe in the house, as always. What's up, big guy?
Reese, you got to stop stealing my stuff out of my brain. I mean, I was going to talk about the purge. Well, I heard that, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. Are we in the Matrix? What is going on here?
Hey, come on, man. I know this stuff. It writes itself. This mayhem writes
it really
itself.
Does. Yeah, it does. The thing is that it's not just what just happened in New York City. There's obviously we got Mandami there. We talk about him. Mm-hmm. Seattle has a Democrat socialist mayor. They're a mess. Washington, D.C. last week voted someone in. Mm-hmm. The person who is running against Karen Bass. Her name is Roland, who beat what's his name? She's a Democrat socialist person.
Yep.
They have a higher favorability rating than congressional Democrats do.
Sure do, plus 14.
And like you just said, it was young people. It was young white people.
Mm-hmm.
And this is an example of how they were not taught to think critically in school.
Yep.
And they were brainwashed in school by progressive teachers who thought that they were waving the progressive flag and getting them to go down that path. But these people have gone even worse than that. And we know historically there is no difference here in terms of what I'm going to say. You can vote yourself into socialism, but you will have to shoot your way out.
That's right. Yes.
There is no example where that has not been the case.
That's right.
So we as Americans have to make a choice here. And my choice is that we vote these people out, but you are, and I say you, not you specifically.
No, I know what you mean.
But we have to put our foot down. This is not an organic movement, even though these young people, were taught to be clueless morons. They talk about the billionaires are doing this. Who do you think is funding these people from, it's the billionaires.
Yep.
And I'll bring up two real quick things here because I think they do apply.
Right.
I made a prediction. I'm going to triple down on it right now that in the next 2 weeks, because that would be the time frame that I said, Donald Trump is going to come out with all kinds of information about the election steal.
Yep.
Well, yesterday, Mike Lindell, the pillow guy, who all these progressives ran to 3D Bed Bath & Beyond, said, don't you dare sell his pillows. He's an election denier.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he was sued by Dominion Software for $1.3 billion. And guess what? The moment that the report came out, 800 pages long, about the election steal, they dropped the case without prejudice, which means they will never bring it again.
That's exactly right.
The other thing I'll tie to this, because I believe it all fits in together, and this is something I've said before, so I'm gonna bring this up, is that we have a problem where I think it was 3 or 4 days ago that there was an Antifa group that attacked an immigration center in Texas. Out of the 10 people who were arrested, they had assault weapons and other things. 2 of them cooperated. One guy for shooting a police officer got 100 years. The others got between 30 and 70 years in prison. So out of those 8 people, what do you think when I say 3 of those 8 people had a defining characteristic? And this characteristic, I think, fits exactly into the Democrat socialists, exactly into the young people who are stupid, exactly into what our country is going to face. And I'll go as far as saying that something really, really bad is going to happen in this country where the American people will say in the future, please give us digital surveillance. Please watch our social media. Please protect us.
That's right.
But we see who's going to do it right now, sitting here, and we're not going to do a damn thing about it.
Yeah.
And what are those 3 out of 8 people? Trans.
Yep. Definitely. 100% right, sir. All right, let me let you go.
They all fit together.
They all fit together. They are. The whole gambit of them. Thank you, boss man. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
You got it. Yeah, Joe is right on point with that. We're going to take a break in a couple of seconds, but we're going to get our guest in here. Linda Szynkowicz just came in. Hi, look at you all summer fresh. We'll talk to her about her event going on this weekend. We'll talk about fight voter fraud, what information, or at least some of the discoveries that we've had in recent days. Or recent weeks, because we haven't had her back in a while, so it's good to have her back. I'm doing something with her on Saturday. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. Roland, you back there? Okay, we'll take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views, and Linda Szynkowicz coming up when we return. It's Reese on the Radio.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
An appeaser is one who feeds a crocodile, hoping it will eat him last. That's what Winston Churchill says. Good line there, Rama. And what Simsbury Joe says, it's very important to recognize that these groups, the outliers here, are they're in is the Democrat Party. Scary enough as that may be, you have to really think about this. And I keep reiterating it. If you can't condemn the radicals, the rabid dogs that in essence you trained, because that's what you did in academia. You put them in these colleges. You told them to get these frivolous and ridiculous degrees. Things that would not get them jobs, put them heavily in debt with no job to get them out. Then, in essence, tell them that they're disenfranchised and special, right? They're disenfranchised and special. I'm special. How am I making no money? I'm special. What do you mean I got to move back in with my mom and dad? Oh, my God, the millionaires and billionaires. I mean, you've told them that everything under the sun is out there to pretty much create their own calamity. Not that they're responsible for anything. It's the government and billionaires. And then you put that rabid dog out there. You literally light a match under them and allow them to run rampant. And then they come for you. That's how it works. When you start feeding your dog gunpowder, they don't bite the neighbor. They eventually bite you. And that's what's happening to the Democrat Party right now. And because they refuse to tell those people when they said a man can get pregnant and a man can get an abortion and that men can play in women's sports and nothing was off limits and you could have drag team story hour when they know that they privately were against it. When you kept allowing it and kept allowing it, then they said, you know what? Let's see how far we can go. Let's start saying, F Kamala Harris and Joe Biden's a rapist. And we'll see if they say anything back to us. And guess what? You did nothing. So guess what? They're going to take more. They're going to bite more. We got Linda Szynkowicz coming up real quick. Stand by. In the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center, our good friend Mark Christopher's back. How you doing, sir? He's getting you home. Hey, Mark. All right, Reese on the radio, second half of the program coming up. Linda Szynkowicz will be joining us talking about fighting voter fraud. We'll talk about what she's doing privately, personally, and everywhere else under the sun, and, of course, about her barbecue on Saturday that I'll be attending. Did you get some people in writing, by the way, on who's going to be there? Or are we still not – they're still waiting for their approval?
Some of them are still waiting for their approval, but John Bolton's going to be there.
I got him. Oh, I love him. Yeah. Okay, I can't wait to see him. How about
Amy Chai is going to be there?
She's actually going to be on the show next week, and I'm glad to meet her.
Chris Lancia is going to be there.
Chris Lancia, I already had him on the show. Can't wait to see him.
I'm trying to think. There was a number of other ones.
Okay.
Matt Corey said he would try to make it. He had to go.
Matt's everywhere.
Through his scheduler. And, I mean, we'll see.
We'll see. That's going to be some interesting. So stand by for that. Linda Szynkowicz. We'll talk about that and much, much more when we return. Mark Christopher's back. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Now that's funny. Sorry. I got to fix my camera. Look at me now. I'm all over the place. We're here with Linda Szynkowicz of FightVoterFraud.org, right? It is org.
Yes.
I'm always screwing it up. What do you got going on other than that? Where are we with, because Simsbury Joe brought up before you came on that Mike Lindell had the Dominion Voters, what is their company called? Dominion
and Smartmatic and all of those.
That $1.3 billion lawsuit is now been dropped without prejudice.
And Mike was releasing, I guess yesterday, 800 pages of documentation with all the proof of all of that.
And so they chose, that doesn't make sense to me, that they would choose to step away from this.
Because there is so much. There's an incredible amount of stuff that most people don't realize as far as all the proof with not only, the machines. Like right now, I got to tell you, I would never even go near a machine to vote for this coming election. Everything, the software, everything has been corrupted.
Really?
Everything. There isn't anything that isn't right now. And you don't need the internet to make the changes.
Right.
They've been using the chips from cell phones. They've been using programmers. They've been using everything. And I had Marley Hornick back in February. She saw the switching of the votes during the Texas primary.
Right.
She gave me a call. I connected her to the people she needed to be connected to down
Sure.
in D.C. The votes are not supposed to move around. When you make a vote, it's supposed to stay where it is.
Right.
There was something like 11,000 votes in the primary. 86,000 votes were removed.
Which primary was it? Was this for
Texas.
Ken Paxton?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And on the Democrat side, I think it was 11,000 votes were removed.
Whoa, are you trying to tell me that Jasmine and Crockett and Tubbs actually had a case?
Yeah, probably had a case. Is there something going on? There is absolutely. You've got some incredible people out there that do the data stuff, and they're allowed to hook up into the state's numbers coming in.
Sure.
And they watch them 24/7. And they're able to plot and watch the stuff moving, disappearing. In Texas, some people that did vote were given 3 and 4 times that they voted. I mean, and that's just in Texas.
What did you think or make of, because I was there for the signing ceremony, and there's a part of me that really, really makes me mad about it. The signing ceremony that Lamont had downtown for the no excuse absentee ballots.
It is such a joke. They don't even hide it anymore.
No.
They do not hide the fact that we need to cheat. This is the only way we're going to win. Mm-hmm. And with Connecticut being one of the 24 states pushing back against the DOJ, oh my God, forbid, that they would give the DOJ the information on the voter rolls, and their excuse is, well, they're going to give, the last 4 digits of your Social Security number. Who gave you your Social Security number? They already have it, and that's just an identifier.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.
But the nice thing that I've been hearing about, especially from the March 31st executive order, the one on,
Right. Yeah.
Right, on that, well, there's another part to it that has to do with the post office. The post office will be the ones putting together and sending out. All of them are going to be individually coded. Mm-hmm. They will not send them out to addresses that are not real addresses. I am sure they will not send it out to an address that is a single-family home with 138 people there that they've never seen an email
So
go
this
to.
may be the most efficient United States Postal Service we've ever seen in history.
Yes. Well, you know what else they're doing, the post office, which is getting everybody all upset? They are now saying that the states that do not comply with sending in their voter rolls to the Department of Justice,
will not be able to use it.
They will not send out absentee ballots. That is what is just come down that they're saying. They're not going to do it.
It's a beautiful idea. I saw that report as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's a smart idea because, in essence, right, you have to utilize the federal system in order to do this. If you want to circumvent the feds, you're going to have to find a way to do it. I mean, this is probably going to have to be done with, like, courier service, right? Can you use FedEx in that case to do it? No, I don't think so.
And they have to use the voter rolls that the Department of Justice sends 90 days before the election. They will be sent by the Department of Justice, and anybody who signs up afterwards, the registrar of voters here in Connecticut will have to have 100% proof that they made sure the person was a U.S. citizen. If they don't, they will be criminally charged.
So we do have, and that was the one thing that many people were concerned about with this law, was that and I asked the Secretary of State this question, and she got somewhat animated about it. I said, do we have a sort of a vetting system on this? And she kept saying to me that we hadn't figured out exactly what that was, while telling me she had figured it out. And I'm going, wait. So let me make sure that I heard this right. You're signing a bill that says that there is no excuse absentee ballot. What do you have in place to prevent any shenanigans going on? And she says those things are being worked out. So I said, does that mean you haven't figured that out yet? And she goes, no, I'm not saying that. Then what are you saying? And she couldn't answer it. She got upset with me. What am I missing? I spoke to Matt Blumenthal. Even he agreed. I said, am I articulating this poorly? I know I only have a high school education, but when you say that you are going to be giving out, absentee ballots, what is the thing that's going to keep fraud from happening? Do you have that in place?
No, of course they don't. Well, actually, they're trying to do right now is they need to cheat. And I have been staying nonpartisan for 8 years. I can't do it anymore.
Right.
They're out of their minds. They are absolutely out of their minds. I'm telling you right now, Connecticut voter rolls are so corrupt with the information. We're going to be purchasing them again. We do the analysis. They're not removing people who should be removed.
Same deal.
And you don't worry, the dead people aren't going to vote. Yes, they do. And even if you hadn't voted in a couple of years, guess what? You don't go to vote, somebody else will vote in your place. It has been going on forever.
I've asked you this before, Linda, because people, who are always pushing back, especially the left, will say to me, Reese, it's not widespread, right? It's here, there, it's ticky-tacky, it's this, that. But I've always wondered this, and I know you have too, or at least you'll probably have an answer for it, right? So if it's not consequential in any way, why do people do it at risk of breaking federal law?
Because they don't care, because they believe there's no consequences. We already know, even here in Connecticut, you bring something to the Supreme Court like we did, and instead of using Connecticut law, they use Massachusetts law with our case. I mean, nothing happens to them. Mm-hmm. Nothing. So there's got to be consequences. Well, this election is a federal election, and federal law supersedes state law. So maybe they'll follow it this time, but we got to get something in place.
Yeah, we're not. That's true. We're not going to. We're not going to have a ballot that is state and federal in 2026. No. They're all going to be federal.
It's considered a federal election, and federal law supersedes. And these voter rolls that will be coming from the Department of Justice have been run through the Alien ID, so they're removing the illegals. Oh, my God, Attorney General Tong must be going out of his mind. You're going to take away his constituents, I mean, this man fights for illegals and rapists and murderers and everybody else, and they're removing those. They're also going through the Social Security Death Index, removing the dead people, removing the people who are registered in multiple states. They are running it through so many different databases to basically give us a clean voter roll. And I'll tell you, that clean voter roll will be here for the one day, and it's going to get totally screwed up.
I always ask this question, too. This is one that I try to get from, again, my liberal friends who can't seem to, make heads or tails of this, especially as it relates to Governor Lamont running. I didn't understand it. And I don't even just say it to the liberals. I say it to conservatives here. So conservatives told me, first broadcast ever, it's like, Lamont's going to run away with it. This is a blue state. There's just no stopping it. And my response to that is, you guys, whatever it is that you're saying doesn't appear to be the things. It's like the Princess Bride, where what's the name Fezzik keeps, it's not Fezzik, whatever his name is, he keeps calling it inconceivable, and he goes, I don't think that word means what you think it means. Because people keep telling me that this guy is unstoppable, unbreakable, and will win. And then he does these weird things. Like the first campaign, he runs it for $18 million. His next campaign, he runs for $26. Wait a minute. It's a blue state that he can't lose. Why is he spending more money? Then this election comes around, and he signs a bill for no excuse absentee ballot. I'm going, wait a minute. You shouldn't have to do any of these things. Right? You don't need all of these gimmicks for a guy who's sure to win, right? Well, what is going on?
Connecticut is not a blue state. If you remove the fraud, you'll find it's most likely purple, if not leaning a little bit red.
Right.
It is the fraud that we have that has been continued on, and it has been going on for several decades. It's embedded within how they're signing up, what landlords are getting what money. We have an ineffective state election enforcement.
Right.
I kind of got away from that before because I had something a year ago that I brought forward that they were going to do something until they sent me a letter saying it's unnecessary to investigate, and I got 1,300 pages of evidence to the contrary with everything. So what we need people to do this fall is, if you are 18 years old, a U.S. citizen, and you are registered within a particular or live in a particular town, you need to vote. I don't care what party you're with, and I don't care who you vote for. You need to step up and vote. And the ones that I am so tired of hearing, well, my vote doesn't count, so I'm not going to vote.
I know.
Somebody else is going to be voting for you. Come on.
That's right.
And now that they have the early voting here in Connecticut, do you realize they're going to be running them through the machines so they will know the vote count? Oh, no, we're not going to look at it. Are you kidding
Yeah, who
me?
wouldn't?
Really?
That's like not opening up the Christmas gift on Christmas Eve. Everybody does it. It's just you want to know. Yeah. It's one of those things you have to know. You said a good point about, and this is my argument to those people who say that my vote doesn't count. And I go to counter to that is your people's comment about there is no voter fraud, and if there is, it's only minute. And I go, that's funny because the person who's probably voting in your name is only putting in an extra ballot, right? And I said it's funny how that vote counts, but yours doesn't. People have to recognize that their vote. You don't get to 1 million without starting at 1. Mm-hmm. Like that's the thing I'm trying to explain to folks when it comes to voting.
Oh. One other thing I want to warn people about, if you have somebody that's in a convalescent home, a dementia location, a rehab center, and you are the conservator, make sure you put in writing that you do not want the person you're the conservator for voting. Because I'm telling you, we had a 97-year-old woman with dementia that voted for the first time in one of the towns. It's just like, are you kidding me? Yeah. They're taking advantage of our loved ones.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's volatile here because we have a lot of elderly in this state. I think it was a story a couple of weeks ago that says every 7, was it 7 people a day turn 75 in Connecticut? Goodness gracious. Yeah. But I mean, those elderly folks are they're ripe for this kind of fraud.
And if you look at things back in 2018, there were 22 races determined by less than 100 votes. Some of them were a couple of votes in each of the towns. So if you think your vote doesn't matter, you may have somebody who's in office as your town selectman, on your board of ed, on planning and zoning, that probably shouldn't be there. And you don't know because the voter rolls need to be clean.
When we go, we're about to go in a second, but can you help me with some math that I'm not understanding here? Because I pay attention to polling data, and I know it better than anybody. But there is one anomaly in a vote that I cannot seem to understand. Let me explain, and maybe you can help me out with this.
Okay.
So in 2024, it was 2022, 2024, and then I want to say it was 2025. When was Mayor Arunan's election? Was that 24 or 25?
I think it was 24. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I have to double check that. But anyway, I know that they went in that order. I know it went 22, 24, and then Arunan's vote, right? In Hartford, the presidential vote, Trump versus Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris, of course, in a landslide, got about 24,000 votes. In that same arena, Lamont, in his election, got roughly about 19,000 votes. Mayor Arunan, in his election, won with 4,707 votes. You have got to explain to me when we get back why those numbers are okay. I can even say Governor Lamont versus Kamala Harris's number. They're in the wheelhouse, but 4,707 for the mayor, we're talking on the ground politician. That's what the number. Somebody's got to explain to me how that happens. We got to take a break. More with Linda Szynkowicz from FightVoterFraud.org. Again, FightVoterFraud.org when we return. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Sorry, Linda Szynkowicz and I from Voter Fraud are going through news. As if things couldn't get crazier for Christopher Murphy, as I like to call him, Christoph, which actually now is taking a little root. Now he wants to triple the minimum wage to $25 an hour and legislate loneliness. This guy is just, I mean, poor guy.
We need to, like I said, we need a cognitive test for anybody who goes to Washington.
Yeah.
And once you're there, like maybe every 2 months to, do that wellness check because they are off. We have 3 of the most crazy lunatics in our small state.
Yeah,
representing us.
It's a bit
I
much.
mean, we've got purple hair.
Yeah.
We've got, not the draft dodger, but, a Blumenthal.
Yeah.
And then you have Murphy, who, oh, my God.
He's so random. That's it. That's the thing I was thinking of. He's random. He is completely random. He is anywhere and everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Yeah. He just wakes up one morning and he's like, I want to legislate loneliness. And then the next day he's like, I want to make the minimum wage $25 an hour. I'm like, who is this guy? I feel like, you know what it is? We have Brian Shackman, the morning show host for Brian and Company. If you notice there to your left, that's darting across Connecticut. So what he does, he stands roughly about where you are, and he throws a dart to the board, and wherever the dart lands, he'll go out there and do a live remote. I think Chris Murphy is learning from Brian Shackman, and he just throws a bunch of ideas on the wall. He just goes, and just throws it and goes, $25 an hour minimum wage. I think we can sell that. And that's the way it's crazy. Nothing against Brian, but Brian is doing something fun. This guy is doing lunacy.
Yeah.
It's like.
And it's also the people that end up voting for them. It's like drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Was it Jim Jones?
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it is.
It's like they listen to the fake news and everything else, and they're being told the sky is pink, the sky is pink. Every day the sky is pink. And we come along and say, wait a minute, the sky's blue, and I think there's a sun up there, and we're the crazy ones.
Exactly. I remember when everybody thought that the world is going to die in 12 years. Remember ALC?
Oh,
Let's get another check. We got to take a check. We got to take another check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher's back. No? What happened? Oh, he's not ready yet. Okay, just still waiting for him to finish with traffic and weather. What is it? Was it good luck, JB? Oh, good afternoon. Sitting in the doctor's office for pre-surgery. That's right. John Beckman's having cataract removal. Good luck there, John Beckman. All right, let's get our check first. Another check, of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher's back. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Oh, that was an interesting exchange for Rosa DeLaura and Mark Wayne Mullen.
Yep.
That was, I just caught that. Don't you point your finger at me. Grandma got feisty. Sorry about that. Linda Szynkowicz from Fight Voter Fraud is here. How long has it been since you got back from Vegas? Was that last week?
It was last week.
Oh,
I was there for the Fraud Fighter Summit, which included election fraud, mortgage fraud, bond fraud. Incredible people were there. They flew in Tina Peters.
Okay.
And she looks great, considering, she spent 4 years in prison for something where she was protecting the votes.
Right.
I actually had an opportunity to speak with her privately, and I usually don't take pictures of myself with people, but we took a picture together.
I think that's a person you can sort of you can fangirl on, Tina Peters.
Yeah. And Attorney Peter Tickton. He's been on my show, and we've done a few other things for him, and I got to introduce him to one of my board of directors from Dallas, which worked out really well.
Yeah.
I saw some people that I've had on my Szynkowicz program over the past year and a half. I finally got to meet them in person.
Okay.
Ian Trottier, who wrote High Treason on John Brennan. Mm-hmm. Ian's phenomenal. You really got to get him on.
Okay.
I'll give you his contact. Ralph Pizzulo, who wrote Stolen Elections. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite people is Professor David Clements. Mm-hmm. Phenomenal. And he actually was fired from his job as a professor the day after he met with Trump.
Wow.
Not that there's any lawfare or any issues going on.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
That, but, there was so many incredible people. And I got to tell you, Greg Stenstrom got up there, and we know the White House was actually monitoring this over the 3 days.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he kind of ticked a few people off.
At the White House?
Oh, at the White House. He called out Susie Wiles. He called out Kash Patel. He called out Todd Blanche. He called out a whole bunch of people. And then he started naming off the 117 people who should be indicted. The evidence that he brought forward to the Department of Justice a year ago. And way I know about this is Greg and I are friends.
Yeah.
And one of the times that I was bringing the evidence down to D.C., I stopped and met with him for about 3 hours, and he showed it to me. You know, and
I remember you mentioned that to me the last time you were here.
Yeah. It was just like crazy. I mean, there's so many good people working on a lot of stuff, and it's not just, with election stuff.
Right.
It is the bond fraud.
Yeah.
On education bonds, everybody better be paying attention to that. Ask yourself, when you're building a new school, and let's just say $10 million they want a bond for. By the time it's paid off, it's usually about $150 million because they kick it down the road and everybody gets paid. But the other thing that happens to us taxpayers is your property tax goes up. Did you do something to increase the value of your home?
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Wow.
So that all of that stuff is coming to a head, and Mitchell Wexler, his case in Texas is actually being brought to the Supreme Court, and it's going to affect every state.
Go back to the gentleman, Greg
Stenstrom.
Greg Stenstrom, who was criticizing the Trump administration. He was going after Kash Patel, Todd Blanche, and those individuals. Is it safe to assume the reason why he was pretty adamant about chastising them was the slow walking of indictments of these people who should be charged?
Absolutely.
What does he believe, if not you believe, that slow walking is happening? Is there a PR issue that people are concerned about, that this is people will say, it's like, oh, it's lawfare 2.0. Is that what that he believes they're concerned with?
No, because I think it's because some of the people that are still at the Department of Justice, and I witnessed this too. It's a hostile work environment.
I can imagine.
I mean, you still have leftovers from the Biden administration, Obama administration. People are doing everything they can to work against what Trump has been doing.
Right.
And then we end up losing the good ones. You know, like one of the ones that I was bringing the evidence to, he's now back out in the private sector. He goes, just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Because things were not moving forward. They weren't giving him the 8 investigators that were supposed to be with his office. They're not, he didn't even have someone who could make copies of things. So we were making copies ahead of time, putting everything together. So we used our resources without getting paid. Was it worth it? Absolutely. We are doing something for our country. And like I said, we are seeing the results of what we've done. But one of the other things that we've come to the conclusion on is that we don't need to take credit. I can smile when I see stories going, I had something to do with that. But people don't need to know it's fight voter fraud. And we know we have a name that has people, the hair on the back of their neck will stand up. Oh my God, there's no fraud. We are doing so much more than that.
Right.
We're also doing the 20-minute interviews for any candidate anywhere in the country. We do it professionally. I don't care. I don't care if you're running for dog catcher. I've done people who are running for governors, secretary of states, attorney generals. Yesterday, I did someone who was running for the Dallas County judge, which I found out he would oversee 31 cities and towns in Dallas County. Wow. I mean, it's a huge deal. He's actually was a colonel in the Air Force and worked at the Pentagon. I mean, brilliant guy. But we want to be able to help out in as many ways as possible.
Understood.
So if you don't see us out there with press releases, we haven't done a press release, a year and a half, because you know what? I don't care.
Right.
I don't care whether people know what I'm doing or what I'm not doing. All I can say is we're doing a lot, and we're doing it for our country, and we're not putting ourselves first, which sometimes hurts us because we need funding. That's why we're doing our fundraiser on Saturday.
Right.
You know, there's a reason for it in order to keep us moving forward. And much to the chagrin of a few people, I had someone who mentioned to me that a former person asked, well, if they closed their office yet. Well, no, and we have no intentions of it.
Haters. Haters.
I do have some negative, people out there with me. I have that. Yeah. I have a gnat.
Right. Everyone's got one. Like as Cat Williams said, if you don't have enough haters, get out there and get you some more. I think the reason why I think it's great what you're doing is your presence here on this show has given a lot of these listeners hope, and they've now kind of opened their eyes to knowing that there is a chance. You and I were talking off the air, and I'll tell you, Linda, we talk to each other like, not even all the time. It's sparingly. Well, it was like infrequent as it could get. And when you and I hook up, I'll tell you something and you'll tell me something. I was like, oh, yeah, I know that. Yeah. So we literally like kind of roam in the same circles where we know what's happening in and around here. We talked about Josh Elliott versus, Ned Lamont. You and I, we know this stuff that everyone is not reporting because there has just been this kind of constant theme of what happens in Connecticut. But for some odd reason, weirdly enough, and maybe you can answer this for me, something changed in the last 2-3 years. Do you see it as much as I do? Like at least in Connecticut, where maybe some of this nonsense is being brought to light. Are you seeing that too? I
am starting to see some of that, and as you know, I had been very quiet politically. Mm-hmm. For what I'm doing, not anymore.
Right.
I'm sorry.
I know.
I cannot do it. I cannot believe when I talk to people around the country, and I was at an international event in Chicago that I was speaking at a few weeks ago, and having to defend my state whenever I'm so sorry, you're from Connecticut. And I say, yeah, I know, I'm from communist Connecticut. And they're like, yeah, we know. And I'm like, you have no idea. We want our state back. Mm-hmm. We can get it back. It is not lost yet. Yeah. If we go another cycle with these lunatics, it's not going to happen. I mean, we have an attorney general right now who will not defend the military, will not defend the elderly, will not defend the hardworking people, but does everything he can to get his face in front of the camera and defend the illegals, the murderers, the rapists, and, no ICE and all this other stuff. And the lawsuits that he's doing are not constitutional. What he fights for and using our tax dollars because he wants his fame and, to be in front of the camera. Everything, as you know, with Attorney General Tong, and as you see, I have no problem saying this, it's all about him.
So bad.
Him.
So bad.
So we have someone who's running against him.
Yep.
That is for the patriots. He's for every single citizen in Connecticut. He will stand by the law, and he has even said that I'm going to have to defend some laws that I may not agree with, but if it's the law, I will defend it.
I'm going to say, Bolton is going to be at your fundraiser tomorrow, I believe.
Saturday.
It's Saturday. Sorry. Yeah.
Saturday,
tomorrow's Friday.
The 27th.
Right.
12 to 4.
So I'm going to see him there.
Yes.
And I talked to him briefly because your point is well taken about William Tong. In fact, that his office had the audacity to call this office, to call my boss, because they had suggested that I had said something about him as it relates to African-American people, as if suggesting that I had called William Tong a racist. I didn't go that far.
No.
But I believe it. But I didn't go that far. The reason why I said it, and I still stand by it, and I told John Bolton about this, because you're right. He will go all the way out, stick his neck all the way out for illegals in this country, while he prevents one family from seeing the video of an African-American male, A1 J. Allen Jones, his family, for having released his murder on tape in a correctional facility at Garner. He has fought tooth and nail to keep that video up. For a guy who can't stop using the word equity and inclusion and race and, a racial diversity, the fact that he would do that. And then another black woman who was raped in prison while she's in jail, while they removed the woman and put her all the way down in Delaware, and then have his office so much as say that she was culpable for her own rape in a statement, and then doesn't come out and say that it was wrong, said that it was misinterpreted. I've got a problem with this guy. I always have. And again, I am not the, power to the people blacktivist. I'm not that guy. But I'll tell you right off the bat, I'm not. Yes, I'm black. I just heard.
Oh, my God.
I just found out. But the bottom line is that this guy, he will use, and I told Bolton, I said, if you really, really want to needle this guy, ask him his record on these so-called minorities in this state. Because, and it's crazy part, because of the people in this community, Black Lives Matter and the NAACP, they've weirdly enough given him cover. How is J. Allen Jones' murder allowed to stay quiet for 8 years in this state? And I'm like, you talk about this guy. He drives me nuts all day. Had the nerve to get on my case about, oh, I heard what you said about me and the African-American community. I find it deeply offensive. I find it deeply offensive that you won't release the videotape of this guy. He says, I have to protect. This is true. When he was asked about it, why he wouldn't release the tape so that the parents can proceed with their lawsuit, he said that he had to protect the taxpayers' money. You mean the guy who has over 70 lawsuits, maybe not even 70, but he's got plenty of lawsuits against the president of the United States using taxpayer money, now all of a sudden is frugal?
Yeah. No.
That's like, oh, goodness. Joey V says, what about Wanda? No, we haven't forgotten about her.
No, we haven't forgotten about Wanda. No, with all of that stuff. But like I said, I wanted to make sure people knew that we are doing a lot more than they realize. And the name of Fight Voter Fraud, 8 years I've been around. You know, I have, people say some nasty things about me, but I have some other people who have done some wonderful things that we work with. We've been training people all over the country. And in the last year and a half, since I downsized my staff, we have done more in the last year and a half than we did in the first 6.5 years. Wow. It is incredible. Our impact, our reach with everything that we're doing, because it's not just Connecticut we need to focus on. We need to focus on the entire country.
Yeah, we have a national issue.
We have a national emergency. Absolutely. I mean, how can our legislators not pass the Save America Act to say you have to be a U.S. citizen, an ID, show an ID? Are you kidding? Well, again, it goes back to most of the ones in D.C., and I'll tell you, including some Republicans, would not be in office if people actually had to show ID and be a U.S. citizen.
I think they all know that, too.
And that's why the rats are scrambling, and they're screaming and trying to deflect and just all of this stuff. Who was it? Pocahontas today was just – I'm sorry.
Elizabeth Warren, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. I honestly couldn't remember.
You got so used to calling her that. Go ahead, before we have to go. What was you going to say about it?
She was just outraged that Trump is not signing that housing bill because he wants the Save America Act.
Hold it hostage.
Really?
Yep.
Really? I mean, come on. Sign the darn bill. I mean, even Democrats want it. They even know we need to do this because you want your vote to count.
That's right. Without a doubt.
So thank you.
No, my pleasure. Linda Szynkowicz, ladies and gentlemen, fightvoterfraud.org. Check her out. When I go to the event, I'll tell you all about it on Monday. Who is there? I mean, is it okay if I'll ask some people?
Ask people. Yeah, I'm going to look at the flyers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I didn't even have any. Thank you so much for that.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
You know what's up? News. Some kid named Benson Boone is a pop singer. He has a song called Beautiful Things. Never heard of it. He's only 24 years old. We don't really count people who are 24 years old. I mean, it's almost like saying 18 months in the music business. Nobody knows who you are. John McCrae, the lead singer of the group Cake, one of my favorite bands, turned 62 today. David Paich, the keyboardist of the group Toto, turned 72. Carly Simon from You're So Vain turns 83 years young today. Eddie Floyd, the R&B singer known for Knock on Wood, turns 91. These are right. See, I've got a chance. 62, 72, 83, 91. That's what I'm talking about. On this day in music in 1967, the Beatles premiered All You Need Is Love live on the global TV broadcast Our World. It reached an estimated 400 million viewers. No one's ever going to get that again. No one ever is going to get that again. In 1984, Prince released his landmark album Purple Rain, which topped the charts for weeks. And it include, of course, hits like When Doves Cry, and it won a Grammy and Oscar while defining that peak career. In 2009, sadly, today is the day that Michael Jackson died at age 50 in Los Angeles from cardiac arrest, and it was also the day we all learned the word propofol. Propofol. That was the the drug he had taken to go to sleep and never woke up. And in 1988, Red Hot Chili Peppers guitarist Hillel Slovak died of a drug overdose at age 26. The tragic loss was deeply affected by the band before their major breakthrough. In fact, there is a documentary out about him as well. So that is your music news. I can say Cake, still one of my favorite bands. Toto, I wasn't a big fan. I like this one album. I even purchased it. It was The Shape of Africa, of course, for the song Africa. And Carly Simon, that woman, what can I say? I dated a girl who was a little prettier, but had the same lips as Carly Simon. We used to call her Lips and Hips Lisa. Yes. I have nicknames for everyone. That's what I called her. Lips and Hips Lisa. She's a girl out of the Bronx, right off Castle Hill Avenue. It's a horrible nickname for a girl. It's like Boom Boom Belinda. Mark Christopher's back. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. I'm a horrible person.
I'm not getting into trouble, so I'm not
Lips and Hips Lisa.
Yeah,
she big lips and she had big hips. That's what I called her. Because everybody had a girl.
Did she know you called her that?
Yes, and that was the whole thing. Everybody in the neighborhood, there was look, it was a Spanish neighborhood in the Bronx.
Okay.
There were two names that were like everywhere, Maria and Lisa. Right? So every girl was named that. So to distinguish one from the other, they all had nicknames.
Lips and Hips.
Lips and Hips.
That's how we knew Reese's girl. Was she offended by that?
No, they were two of her most beautiful features. She was just, she had an hourglass shape.
Okay.
And, she was all hips and all lips. And she had, like, beautiful lips. It just
nothing wrong with that.
It just exactly.
I'm just going to leave it. Just going to leave it right
not
there.
Not a slight.
Just leave it right there.
From politics to news to music to movies and anything above the sun and outer space and beyond, it's Reese on the radio. Damn, he's good. Only on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Hey, I just got a message from Peter Lamage. I'll read that in a second. I hope he's listening. But he said, it was a nice, Peter Lamage, such a nice guy. Good afternoon. Reese on the radio. This is Peter Lamage. I hope you and your family are doing well. Oh, man. Yeah, absolutely, Peter. If you're listening, I promise I'm going to make that happen without a doubt. Peter Lamage was a fantastic guest. And thank you, Linda, for coming in today. And I can't wait to see Saturday. And Linda's going to be back right around the week of the primary of August 11th. And we'll talk about some info that she's gathered there. I want to talk about this this report, this quote, I should say, that Lamont put out after the elections in New York. I'll talk about that briefly, but let me get to some phone calls here. Steve is in South Windsor. How are you, sir?
Hello, Reese. I love you. I love your show.
Oh, thank you, sir. What do you got?
While you were on your interview, I was watching a local TV channel, and our dear governor gave thumbs up to Foxwoods for a marijuana lounge. Of course, they don't pay taxes because it's that tribe.
Did he say thumbs up for a marijuana lounge? Are you serious?
Marijuana lounge at Foxwood Casino, and no taxes involved because of the
what?
You missed it because you were on the air.
I know, but now I have to address this. Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you, but I also say maybe we could take Chris Murphy and John Larson and change the state to the cannabis state.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're 100% right. They are doubling down on this marijuana thing, and it is miserable. I don't even know what to tell you. Thank you for that info, because now I have to dig deep in that.
Well, you'll see it later on. And I would wonder in Cromwell if they'd love that aroma. if they would stop it.
Yeah, listen, I'm telling you, it is the worst smell ever when you're driving around. It always hits you like a ton of bricks, and it's uncomfortable. It's the most uncomfortable smell ever.
somebody's feeding somebody's pocket at Foxwoods.
Oh, without a doubt. Thank you.
Marijuana lounge now.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. No.
I'm more wrong ways.
I am on it, and thank you very much for telling me. We're going to get moving on that right now.
Thank you, Reese.
You
Bye.
got it, sir. Have a good one. Chip in Coventry is on the line. Hello, Chip.
Reese, 2 or 3 quick things. I know you're a busy man, but Reese, you are the man of peace. That's
Thanks,
number
sir.
1. All right. And I have to apologize to you.
Really?
I don't think yeah, seriously, because I told you in November, right near Thanksgiving, that I was going to deliver a groceries to that Bellevue, the charity, not charity, to the people who needed food, around the Thanksgiving Day.
Was it Friendly Hands Food Bank?
No, it could have been.
It was either that or Marshall House.
Okay, I'll go with number 1.
Okay.
but I never got to go down there, and I felt guilty, and I really apologize for that. I really do.
It's okay. Listen, life happens. I would never begrudge you. Look, people want to do stuff. Life gets in the way. It just happens. The only thing I say is, and this is for you, not for me, if you ever make a plan on doing something, just always find a way to make good on it. And you know what my kids used to do to help me out? I don't know if your kids are much grown now or if you have somebody in your life that you could do this with, but this is always important. So when my kids were young, they would go, like they'd see something on TV or somebody would mention something to them that they want to go to. And they go, hey, Dad, can we go to Central Park tomorrow? And I go, yeah. I go, yeah, sure. And they go, do you promise? And I go, why do I have to promise? And he goes, because you told us when we were young that you always keep your promises. So if you say you promise, then we know that you'll take us and we can hold you to it. And so that's how my kids used to keep me honest. If I asked for something and I said yes, that wasn't enough. They go, do you promise? And if I was certain of it and I hear it, that would trigger me to go, I got to promise them it and I got to make good on it. So try to do that, and then you'll always come back to the thing. I made a promise. I got to keep it.
Yes, and I agree. And the I've been listening to you. Another reason I haven't called in is because I got rear-ended back in January. Long story short, I was parked, totaled my car, concussion, got a better car, and I'm not hooked on the Sirius. I'm like flabbergasted. I get to listen because if you remember me, Reese, I am an R&B, Luther Vandross, Michael Jackson.
And you probably got 24-hour commercial-free R&B now.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love that's how I roll. But I wanted to say quickly, congrats. I think it was Monday you celebrated 7 years.
Just yesterday, but yes, thank you so much.
And I want to just bring up a quick topic on that. I started going to, I guess I can say it, right?
Yeah,
AA?
of course you can.
12-step program. I started going in 1984.
Wow.
Because I was 21, working at Travelers, and, I had a couple of those things where you're not supposed to be driving and drinking on. And, DUIs, let's face it, all right? Why hide it? So I got started in recovery, and I enjoyed it. I was just a weekend party freak. All the disco clubs, the nightclubs. The only club I didn't get to, it was
Studio 54. It's a bucket list place.
Well, yeah, but I wanted to go there, but I don't think I didn't have $1 million to get through.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to say is, to me, it's controversial. I stopped going after 37 years, 4 years ago, and here's the reason why.
Wow.
And believe me, I would. Yeah, I would never, ever down AA because I know a lot of people. I'm not famous at all. One of the things we say, remain humble.
Yes.
Don't think you're better than that. I'm speaking to myself, not to you.
Right. I got you.
So I put together the first time around 17 months, and as we say, I went back out and for one day,
right.
And then I came back. Welcome back, Chip. They love me. Where we all, and then 23 years.
Look at that.
But here's the but, and I'm proud of that because but you know, like it was me, but I thank my higher power, as we say, God or whoever, who's ever in control. I don't know, but and 4 years ago, I said, you know, I'm going to give AA a break because I just needed a break. As I was going, I used to go, even when I was married, I'd go 4, 5, 6 times a week, mostly to the same
You
meeting.
can overdo it. You can overdo it, Chip. You can.
Well, at the time I was married, and I was DJing on the weekends, and then working second shift, and my now ex-wife of 21 years, as of June 27th, wasn't very happy. But I said to her, I like to go. I like being sober, you know, and I wasn't a daily drinker, Reese. I was just, like I said. But here's the main reason I stopped going. I got tired of certain people bragging, just like, you know, I've got 15. No, you got nothing. You got 1 day, baby.
That's it. That's all you got.
I mean, maybe you accumulated, and I did too. But I was very humble. Even when I would get my 10-year medallion, I was like not embarrassed, but I'm like, "Yay, Chip!" You know, and I'm like, but it's like, you know, I mean, thank you. I don't want no accolades. I don't want a trophy.
Chip, ironically, I'm got to cut you short, but let me just say this to you: the part that I want to say to you, at the bottom of you, as much as humility as you may have, I will be honest with you on the Chip thing. When I first got into the program, I referred to myself as kind of a Chip whore. Every month I would go to 5 meetings on my anniversary month, and I would pick up a chip because it was such an accomplishment for me that after 18 months I had to wait a year after year, and it was driving me crazy. And guess what? I can't wait to go to like 7 or 8 meetings so I can get a chip at every one for my 7th year. So maybe my humility hasn't arrived yet.
But seriously, and you know, I ran into a lot of people where I work, where I live, and they're like, "Chip, are you ever going to come back?" And I say, "You know something? I'll never say never.
That's right.
I'm okay. Things are great." But I just want to say one more time, congrats to you. I'm back on track with WTIC with Reese on the radio.
We got to make that a promo. Thank you, boss man.
Love you, buddy.
You too. That's great. That is fantastic. In my opinion, I believe Carly Simon is does the most beautiful rendition of Glenn Miller's Moonlight Serenade. I wouldn't argue with that, Joey V, at all. I got time to do this. Let me get to this because it's a short thing that I wanted to mention. So, of course, after all of the wins in New York City, the Mamdani-backed candidates, 8 of them in total. But the 3 that everyone's talking about, they, of course, asked our very own Governor Ned Lamont about it. And when he was asked, there were a lot of things that Ned Lamont could have said, but here's what he chose, unsolicited. He said, quote, "I have a feeling that Netanyahu was on the ballot. AI was in the backdrop. You know, issues that aren't quite as resonant here in Connecticut, but still important." Now, I have no idea what the hell that meant or why it was said, but you're asked about the election and what it means, and you said, "I have a feeling that Netanyahu was on the ballot." And I went to go look this up, and I said, Lamont, if I remember correctly, has always had a pretty good relationship with Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu. So sure enough, I did. Here it is. October 9th, 2023, days after the October 7th attack. Lamont put out a clear statement, quote, "I am appalled by the attacks of innocent Israeli civilians. Connecticut stands in solidarity with the people of Israel and condemns these terrorist attacks by Hamas. My heart is with the families and victims in this dark hour." In 2022, going further back, he led a trade mission to Israel, met with Israeli officials, talked about the state as a kindred spirit for innovation and economic ties. That was before Netanyahu's current term, but the point stands, Lamont has a history of strong rhetorical support for Israel when the issue was fresh and politically safe. Excuse me, for Democrats. But now he says that Netanyahu's on the ballot? And Josh Elliott is just recently brought in You know, this Katz guy who works in the Mamdani campaign. And Lamont's like not standing with Israel while these candidates are running an anti-Israel campaign with Mamdani as the ringleader. And no one thinks that Lamont is scared to death. No one thinks that Lamont is paying attention to what Josh Elliott is doing. I thought Brockman said that we're not even paying attention. This is a weird response. I mean, it's incoherent to boot. But Benjamin Netanyahu was on the ballot? Listen very closely to what I am trying to say to you in case you are missing it. What is the thing that Lamont keeps telling us that he's doing in his run for governor? Isn't he running against Donald Trump? Technically, isn't that what every Democrat is doing? And then in New York, he says Netanyahu is on the ballot, not Trump? Think about it. Everything is Trump for all of them. Always Trump, always Trump, always Trump. He's asked about the New York wins, and he puts Netanyahu in. Strategic, or is Josh Elliott getting to old Lamont? I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just looking at it, trying to figure out. It absolutely makes no sense. But maybe that's the purpose, right? Maybe he doesn't make any sense. August 11th. It couldn't come any sooner. I can't wait. Oh, when is that shoe going to drop? Josh, get on it. Hurry up. I got betting to do. Let's get another check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher is back. He is at a BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
Hey, we're back. Reese on the radio. I cannot believe that it's already Thursday. These weeks go by way too fast. Don't forget to always check out ReeseOnTheRadio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. If you haven't gone there, also check out my news site called The Rundown. It is therundownnews.org. You can find it at ReeseOnTheRadio.com. I need to update on that. I also need to find somebody to do some digital work for me to maintain a couple of my sites. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. I gotta really sort of step up my digital footprint. Plus, I got to go outside more. That's the thing I have to do. I have to go outside more and have to be out during the day, which is hard for me to do because I'm preparing for my show so early, and then I come here at 11 o'clock. Like, I'm in if you don't know this, I get in the studio at 11 o'clock after starting my day at home at roughly 9 o'clock. No, that's not entirely true. Some mornings it's as early as 7. So I wake up and I'm already checking out. If anything happened overnight, if anything blew up, somebody got caught in a scandal, this first thing I do, I don't even have my contacts in yet. I've got my store-bought glasses on because one of the frames are broken. Speaking of which, I have to stop at a CVS and go get one of those readers. And I start reading the news and going through all of that, all hazy-eyed. And I have to keep it very dark because Roseanne doesn't like the light because it's pitch black in our house. And so then, I'm reading the news, and then I get up and I get in front of my computer, and then I got to go through news and grab stuff. And then from there, the day begins. And then I come here 3 hours earlier than the show to get more stuff done. And then that's it. And if I go out during the day, then I'm scrambling. So it's difficult. I'd like to do more things outside, get some fresh air. You know, grab a burger or a slice of pie, drink some coffee, maybe some tea even. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Mark, real quick, how often do you get out by yourself and go to the local diner and get a piece of pie with some tea or some coffee or something like that? You don't drink coffee, though, do you?
No.
What's your
pie? Let's go.
Pie,
Let's go
right?
Pie right now. Yeah, absolutely.
Where's a good place to get pie? Near me. Not near you. I know you live in a hoity-toity neighborhood. I need like Bristol, New Britain, Farmington area.
Ooh.
Nothing?
You know what I was going to say, Vernon Diner, but that's not in
Vernon's all the way on the other side.
Yeah, that's not in your neighborhood. I don't really know. I don't really eat out in that area. So.
Well, you know what? That's what we're going to do.
I'm sorry.
I need to know. It's okay. I'm just going to...
Yeah, open up the phone.
There you go. Phone lines are open.
You're going to get a zillion recommendations.
860-522-WTIC. I want to sit down and have some coffee and some pie. Someplace near me on this side of town.
That sounds... Yeah, you're going to get a lot of recommendations for sure.
I know I am.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
I think I know that restaurant, Bruce. I may be confused about where it is, but I think I know where you're talking about in Unionville. Apparently, there's a place called Family Restaurant nearby. And Michael A. said, if I get in early enough to the studio, apparently there's Food Truck Tommy. I've heard of him, too. I never get here in enough time. I'm here at 11. When does he leave? Is he only in the morning? I don't know. Anyway, I just texted Tim Restall. He's probably freaking out. I'm like, oh, my goodness. I screamed out. I'm freaking forgot. What was it, 2 days ago? No, yesterday. Today's the 25th, right? Yesterday, they had the Negro League tribute game yesterday, and I meant to go down there to go buy a jersey for the Hartford Schoolboys, and I forgot about it. I didn't put it in my calendar. I thought I did. I completely forgot. I feel like a complete heel, and I don't think they have any more. Ugh, that makes me angry. I really wanted that. Apple, blueberry, peach, cherry pies at Rogers Orchard has a bakery, and that is in Southington. Oh, okay. Also, Olympia Diner in Newington. That's close, too. I don't know if I like banana pies. I have no idea. Do you like banana pies, Roland? I don't think are you... What? What? You don't, not even apple? Sweet potato? Like, what? What? That's like saying I don't eat French fries. What are you talking about? No. I've never heard anyone like that. You know what it reminds me of?
Pie is gross.
What?
Yeah, I like cake. I don't like pie.
You can like both?
No.
Is cake too skinny? Or is not substantial enough? Is that what the deal is?
I'm not. I don't like hot fruit.
Okay. All right, I can get it. Apple pie is not my favorite. I'll take it, I mean, that rhubarb pie that the folks at Lyman brought in, that stuff was good.
I like Hershey pie.
That sounds like something else. But anyway.
It's full of chocolate.
Well, I'm assuming it is. Okay, just really? Pie is almost like it's so universal.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Apple pie with ice cream is always really what is wrong with you? You remind me of that guy. I was at Gray's Papaya in New York, the one that was way downtown, the Lower East Side. And I said to him, I got 2 hot dogs, and I said to him, can I get a root beer? And the guy looks at me and he goes, root beer? And I went, yeah. You don't have root beer? He goes, what is root beer? I said, you never heard of root beer? He's like, no. I said, what are you, Al-Qaeda? How do you never heard of root beer? You work in America. You sell hot dogs. Root beer? No, you don't know that? You don't like pie?
No.
Like, that's a thing. Like, everybody has said, have you had pie?
Yeah.
And then you didn't
I don't like
it.
hot fruit.
It doesn't always have to be fruit. There are cold pies.
Yeah, I don't like
lemon pie, lemon meringue.
Nah.
Lemon meringue, I should say.
Nah.
No?
No.
It's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. It seems like a weird thing not to like.
Cake is so much better than pie.
Okay, I'm not denying that. I like cake,
so why would
too.
I eat pie if cake is so much better?
Because it's light and fluffy? I don't know. It just seems like I'll put it to you like this. It's like liking apples versus oranges, right? It's like, I like apples, but I'm not really a fan of because orange can be tart, right? You know, it's citrus, and that makes sense. But pie is just not one of those things where people go.
You know what I do like about pie?
Okay.
That top crust thing. That's it.
The crust on top.
Not the layer of crust, like that's around the edge.
Oh, the edging.
But not that goes to the pie. Just that's above the pie.
Oh, you mean right on the edges?
Yeah, right around the edges.
So you like the crunkly, hard, no taste part of the pie?
Yeah, I like that.
What is wrong with you? What am I hearing right now? This is the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life.
Is it?
Yes.
I know a lot of people that don't like pie.
Really? There are people who don't like pie? What are you, like a club? What is wrong with you? What? Like the pie haters? That's insanity. I've never heard anyone not like pie. That's just, you're a cook. You like food. Like,
and pie is nothing appealing about it. I'm trying to think of something that's like, that makes me be like, oh yeah, I want that. There's nothing.
There is a diner out here that sells pie who listens to this show. It's just looking at the pie sitting on the counter and going, what? There are people who are probably sitting at a diner going, what?
I mean, I think pie is terribly overrated.
No, it's American. Like American as apple. Pie.
It is terribly overrated. Pie is.
Pie is overrated.
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
Why do you think they have to add something to it to make it delicious? Oh, gotta add a scoop of whipped cream. Gotta add a scoop of ice cream to make this pie. Like, come on, man.
It's never good on its own, is what you're saying, right? Okay, hold on.
I don't see people eat pie without putting something on it.
Stop it. Okay, good. I'll have a counter to this then. Grits. It's not good by itself.
No, but that's not the same.
No, it's exactly the same. Other than that, it's wet dirt. That's what it is. It's wet dirt.
Well, then if you're going to say that, you can say it about, you talking about a singular substance. Pie has multiple ingredients in it. And even with multiple ingredients, it's still not good.
How the obvious is no, he has his pizza pie included. No, I don't. He thinks that.
Pizza is
different.
delicious.
Yeah, pizza is pizza. That is insanity that you don't like pie. But like I said, grits, just like you said, pie, it would be good. It's never good on its own, and something must be added to it. I say the same thing when people try to get me to eat grits.
Yeah,
you can't have it on
salt,
its own.
Butter, cheese, milk.
Other than that,
you put all that stuff in it.
Eat it. And it's like, I don't know.
You could say that about potatoes. You got to add some stuff to it to make it good.
Yeah, I still don't like potatoes. It's really, really a pain in the behind, but Roseanne makes me eat them all the time.
What, mashed potatoes?
No, just potatoes.
Oh, roasted potatoes?
She loves roasted potatoes, baked potatoes.
French fries?
French fries are French fries. That's different. But potatoes is just...
Mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes are okay.
Delicious.
Yeah, as long as they're made well. But just a pie thing, that's just weird. Cajun, what does he say? Cajun crawfish pie? Is that a thing?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so you like that pie? That seems like a chicken pot pie.
Yeah, but it's not like regular pie.
Yeah, that's a meal.
The pies I'm talking about are like dessert pies.
Yeah, desserts. I know that's what you're talking about.
Crawfish pie is actually delicious.
Yeah, I would imagine. That sounds like something that you would like. Of course. Sounds Louisiana, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course it is. I'm not reading that, Adam. Adam's being a cop as usual. Let me go to Gary in Southington. Hello, Gary.
Hey, Reese.
What's up?
Hey, I want to let you know not only has Rogers Orchards got good pies, but Lewis Farms in Southington got great pies.
Okay. Now we're talking about a whole array of different pies, right?
Oh, yeah. But, hey, that's not what I called you for. Speaking of Southington.
Yes.
Are you familiar with Turning Point Ministry in Bristol?
I am not, but...
They are a sober house.
Okay.
And they're struggling financially, and I'm doing a softball co-ed tournament this Saturday in Southington. I want to invite you and Roseanne to come over and support it.
Hold on. Give me 2 seconds. Let me just find something out real quick. You said it's this Saturday?
This Saturday in Southington at Recreation Park.
Okay, hold on. Let me
It'll
just...
be going on all day.
All day? Okay. Well, I have to be somewhere at noon in Middletown.
It starts at 8 a.m. Well, we're pretty close to Middletown. Maybe you can come over in the morning.
Okay. Can you, you know what? Let me put you on hold. Give Roland the address, and he'll forward it to me, and I'll put it on my list of things to do on Saturday.
All right. I hope you guys show up.
Oh, you used to play? Okay, so Roland knows exactly where it is. Okay, good enough.
He does.
All right, so, and it's all day?
Yeah, it starts at 8 in the morning, and it's going to go probably to at least 5.
Oh, hell yeah. We'll make it out there. Absolutely. Do you mind if I film? Like if I, No,
absolutely. That would be fantastic.
Okay, well, then absolutely.
You could even interview people.
That's exactly what I want to do. So I'm going to show some people some love. So, let them know that I'll be there.
All right. Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Without a doubt. Listen, I always say it's first come, first serve. If you invite me someplace and it's close by and it's at least within a distance of at least where I'm going to be, I'd be happy to come. Any place you invite me, I'll be happy to come. So thank you.
Do you know how to swing a bat?
Oh, of course I do.
Well, maybe we'll get you, a pinch hitter there. You can get one at bat or something.
Now I'm bringing a change of clothes.
There you go.
Thank you so much, Gary. I appreciate the invitation. Right. We'll see you there.
Talk to you later.
You got it, sir. Yeah, why not? I'll go by. I'll hit a few balls without a doubt. It'd be interesting to watch me do it again. But now I'm kind of in one's like, oh, that's mean. You're just mean. I don't need to be retired. I need to exercise more. It's not baseball, it's softball. No, it's not. It's underhand pitching. And it's co-ed. So you know a chick's going to throw it at me.
And you won't be able to hit it.
Listen, young man, that is just mean. And not just hurtful.
Softball is still difficult to hit.
I know it can be. I've watched a couple of those games. Little underhanded speed pitching.
And you get one of them girls that's a former softball player, they're going to strike you out.
You know, your faith, your lack of faith is disturbing, as Darth would say. I can play. Let me see. What did he write here? I can jump on 691. It's right there. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, well, we'll make our way out there. Do you have this address, Roland?
What?
To that place?
To Rec Park?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll send it to you.
Is it close to Middletown? Like 15 minutes?
It could be a little longer than 15.
Oh, goodness gracious. Is it, you said, where does he say, Southington?
Yeah, it's in Southington.
Where's the place that I keep confusing? Southington? What is that?
I don't know what that is.
Well, what's the place where they have the Bob's Furniture that I went to? Is that Southington? That's all in the same area, right?
It's all in the same area.
Right. Southington is right next to New Britain and all those other places.
Southington is down if you go down the street,
and
turn where you turned yesterday, jump on the highway, is like 2 exits up.
Okay, I know that I've been there before. I'm positive. In fact, I'm almost certain
Street.
That's where I got my king size bed from, at the Bob's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm positive I've been there before. Okay, so it's not that far. Middletown is actually further. But the beauty of
Middletown is like 20 minutes away, 25 minutes away from here.
Exactly. So I can go, what I'll do is I'll go to Middletown. I'll start that off by noon, try to leave there roughly about 2 o'clock, and then shoot my way up, and then I'll come hang out with these guys.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
You come hang out with those guys, get struck out on video by a former softball pitcher. I'll be happy to laugh.
As I always say, radio was free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you, and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. He is Roland. He's a hater. We'll see you next time at 2 p.m. Mark Christopher's getting you home. He is in the BPS Lawyers Driving Center. Good night, sir.